Good morning, and thank you for being here today for our back to school service. For KK, it's tomorrow, yeah? Back to school is tomorrow with his students. And they're either people are either really excited to go back to school, and then there's another group who is like dreading going back to school. And when I was in middle school and high school, I was dreading the new school year every time. I was like, oh, I wish summer could be longer. And for me, it was like a bullying situation. Not so much in high school, but mainly in middle school. Middle school years were like the worst times in my life, I think. And so there were like a group of bullies who, I don't know, they were teaming up, and they were there at almost every corner, like one of them. And when they see me walking by, my nickname would be Jap. That was my nickname. So the word Jap is a trigger word for me. And oh my gosh, they would just like push me, and middle school was hell. It was hell. And I really wish at that time I knew where the safe places were in school. Like I wish the teachers would have told us, if you don't have anywhere to go, you can come into my class. Or I wish they would have said, oh, you can go to the library. Because I think from thinking of it now, I think, man, I should have spent my time in the library. Because in middle school, I didn't eat lunch. Even though my mom gave us the 75 cents, which was school lunch, she gave us the 3/4 every morning. I had it in my pocket the whole time, and I wouldn't use it. And I also didn't go to the bathroom the whole 8 hours. So that's so when my mom picked me up late sometimes, I would get really mad because I was holding it in for super long. So that's why. And this is something I never told my parents. Never told my parents about the bullying that was going on. Never told them that I wasn't eating the lunch. And every time I would come back here, the 75 cents that she would give me, I'll slip it back into the offertory box. And then my mom was like, oh, that's why there was always money for you every day. And I was like, yeah, because I wouldn't eat lunch. And I would come home and I would eat the instant ramen that was in the osagari cabinet. And so, but even though I was bullied, there were saving graces, even at middle school. And I would never forget the kindness that these few teachers did show me, because middle school years is very, very awkward period in life. And when it was like recess or lunchtime, again, I would spend like the whole hour just in the hallway, just staring blankly at the ground. And I was like this weirdo. I was a weirdo. But then this special ed teacher, she noticed that, oh, this girl, she's troubled. Something's up with this girl. So she invited me to the special ed class. And she said, why don't you spend time in this special ed class? So for lunchtime, after that, I just automatically went to that class to just color things, to work on like crafts that they were doing. And sometimes they would offer me their meal. And also another teacher, Mrs. Okamoto, actually, I think you may know her, the math teacher. She also noticed me just standing outside her classroom before the class began at lunchtime. And like the whole hour, I'll just stand there. So she invited me in her classroom too. And she would offer me her lunch tray. It's her teacher's lunch tray, but she would offer it to me. And I will never forget that kindness. It's like I should have given my 75 cents to her. But it's like in that period of time, I didn't know what to do. Like it was horrible. Just being in middle school, just going to school every morning to wake up was a pain. It was hurting my feelings every day. So I'm pretty sure that there are some students that are dreading to go back to school. But know that there are people that do care about you. And it's those people that you will never forget for the rest of your life. So I'm really thankful, and it's been so many years, but when I do see Mrs. Okamoto sometimes when I go up the heights to help clean somebody's house, I talk about that time. I say, I really thank you. I remember those days when you saved me. You saved this middle school child who was going through so much pain. But I do remember all the kindness you extended to me. And she remembers those days too. So, 本当に, it must have been Kami-sama. And because Kami-sama works through people to save people. So even though I was in middle school, even though I didn't understand what was going on with me, my whole my body, my mind, body, and spirit, Kami-sama was there to save me in those ways. So as students, as teachers, if you catch those kind of kids who looks alone, lonely, please help them out. Be their saving grace, because one day they will never forget those kind of people. And I remember a few years ago when my husband was struggling with one student, very, very difficult student, and that year he mentioned that it was like one of the hardest school years that he had. But because this one child was quite disruptive. But it's really interesting because the next year, because I sometimes go to his class from time to time to help out with his school activities, this boy would come into his classroom. The one that was very disruptive. He would come into the classroom like after school, like during recess or sometimes. And I'm like, wow, that's so interesting. I think it's because he remembers that kindness. And Clayton isn't a mean person. He's very kind and understanding. So I think to that boy, maybe Clayton was like the kindest teacher, the kindest person at that school. And so that's why he came back time and again. So those kind of good memories, it'll be etched into those long-term memories, and we'll never forget about them. And I want to thank those people. And I want to thank Kami-sama for putting those people into our lives. So that's kind of like what I wanted to share today. Some old school memories and how Kami-sama still helped us in those hard times. And I think because of that, we were able to survive and not quit. Because like in Japan and even in school nowadays, when kids find it difficult to go to school, they'll just not go at all. They'll just stay home. It's called toko kyobi. Yeah. So they'll stay home, not wake up, just stay in bed, play video games all day. And it's like, when I think of it, it's like, I could have probably done that too. I could have probably been like, I'm not going to school. I'm not going to listen to you, mom and dad. But it's like, I don't know, something in me was like, even though it was hell every day at school, I had to go. And then I kept going, perfect attendance almost. But I think that helped develop a thicker skin. It helped me make me a little bit more resilient person and more understanding person when I encounter people who are being bullied. So those are all lessons for me. And whatever difficult situations that do arise, I think they're all lessons from Kami-sama that we can use for future purposes. Thank you. Hope you all have a wonderful new school year.
Thank you for your attendance today. As Edna Sensei said, she has been trouble at school. I will never imagine she would go that kind of trouble. Basically, the education system in Japan, in the United States, quite different. Actually, Japan adopted education system from the United States, and they really compete education system as a whole nation. Japan is really not resource, words of millions. People in Japan regard each individual national resource to sustain national life. So each children has been treated as a resource. So it's quite different. The whole nation, the system to bring any children to become responsible children. When we go to Japan, we see young children, nursery school students, they all wear the same uniform. It's kind of weird in Hawaii, but they train, they try to grow each individual in the way nation, the people wish to get educated. The very beginning, the very basic way of life as Japanese, they learn as a group of young people. So they grow up and after graduate of high school, outside high school, it's a compulsory education. And after that, they do their own way for education. But in the United States, it might be merit-based education. Everybody, some people may try to get education, advance in education. Some people don't care about it. But it's quite different. Individually, young children care, but nationally, they don't care. Only some leaders, very highly educated people, can be the leader of the nation. The people may be controlling us. Some people try to become one of those leaders of society. Actually, I always remember the instructor. We can be educated if we have average ability to learn, if we have resources such as money, time, in education system, we can be educated anyway. We can get higher education. But it's difficult to educate, to become warm-hearted. So, his message still deep in my mind. They're so true. And basically, if some people, the young people, have been educated in the way how to become good and warm-hearted individual, very exceptional group of people, may be educated in that manner. But basically, if we do not appreciate, we have been supported, we have been sustain our life, and some power beside our own personal power, but identified elements to support our lives. Yeah. If those people who are aware, those unseen and identifiable elements can become warm-hearted. They can naturally develop. The fourth concourse のユースで世話になるすべてに礼を入れる心、平和を生み出す心。This could be the adaptive educational system. Anyway, thank you very much.